Well, hello again, and welcome to another Hyperion morning. How y'all doing out there? How's everything going? Just checking to make sure everything's working. Seems to be working. You never know. I was rushing to get this done right to the last moment. Lots of stuff to talk about. Mostly I was looking at pictures of a food item I'm about to bring up in just a little bit and getting very hungry, but we'll talk about that in a second. But how you doing? How's your weekend going so far? Hopefully you had a fantastic Saturday onward into Sunday. Hopefully everything is going strongly for you. Hey, good morning, Marianne. Welcome to the show. Happy Sunday to you. So glad you came along for the journey this morning. We've got some fun stuff ahead of you. I think we're going to talk about a few things Disney. We're going to talk about a few things that happened on this day in history. A lot of fun stuff. And, what national day is it today? Well, it's going to be something that I think you're going to like when we talk about that. So a very sassy Sunday to you. I hope you're being a little sassy today, a little fun, a little whatever you like to be on a Sunday. Relax, go out and have a good time. Whatever it might be, it's your Sunday. You treat it how you want, and I couldn't be happier for you. Couldn't be happier for you. So let's talk about a few things that are happening kind of on this day, including something that happened. There's a little news that came out of New York Comic-Con yesterday. Yes, Daredevil is set to return. Daredevil Born Again. We already knew that this series was coming, but we officially got the date. It's going to be returning to Disney Plus. Of course, the great Marvel series featuring he's a blind superhero with superpowers to kind of have all his other senses kind of work around him. He's an attorney, spoiler alert, but he's also a superhero. And the main actors that starred in the original Netflix series, which if you caught any of that, it was a gritty series. But the original actors that came part of that, Charlie Cox as the part of Daredevil himself, and then Vincent D'Onofrio, who you saw in some other Disney series. He will be showing up in this one as well as Kingpin. So kind of excited about that. So again, that's going to be debuting March 4th, 2025. And I'm very excited about it. I love more Marvel series. More Marvel series is good. I'm a big Marvel fan. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. It'll be interesting to see how it compares to what the series was when it was on Netflix, as far as the grittiness. It was a little more kind of on the mature basis. I'm not going to say it was like completely crazy, but a little bit more than what we've seen from some Marvel series on Disney Plus. Although we're getting a little more edgy now as we move forward, and I think hey. We're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. Talk about edgy. You're not going to get much more edgy than that. So anyway, excited, very excited about that. What else is going on? Well, we are celebrating another national day today. And I have a question for you. Is there a better combination than chicken and waffles? Maybe peanut butter and jelly? Peanut butter and chocolate? But chicken and waffles, pretty darn good. And today is National Chicken and Waffles Day, and I am a big fan of chicken and waffles. The sweet, the savory, if you get a little spice to that chicken with a little, maple syrup in there, whatever. So you kind of get that balance in every bite of sweet, spicy, savory, salty, all of it. It is really, really good. I'm a big fan of it. And just as a personal side note, not exactly what you would expect from chicken and waffles, but back in the day when Michelle and I had our own catering company, we did do a wedding where we did a savory waffle bar, essentially, where we kind of did 3 different types of savory waffles, and one of them was a chicken and waffle. It was a little bit different chicken and waffle. We did a sweet potato waffle with the chicken and barbecue sauce, kind of a more traditional dish, but something that a little different than your normal chicken and waffles. And it was a pretty big hit. You can see this was what the original pictures I took to kind of sell it to the bride and groom. I changed it slightly. You can see it's kind of a sliced chicken here. I ended up doing a shredded chicken more on it. When it was all said and done, I thought it was easier to eat that way when it came across, but was a yummy dish. You can see it here. One of our wonderful chefs serving up one of these chicken and waffles. We also had it was a different style, and kind of an Asian pork and waffle, and a shredded beef and waffle as well, that were all a little different, but it was a lot of fun, and one of my favorite days of being a caterer back in the day. It was just really enjoyable. Thank you, Marianne. I knew you'd like it. That's part of the reason why I showed it. Thank you, Marianne. Yeah, it was fun, and I still do it every once in a while to this day. I'll still make it, some of these waffle dishes, and they're a lot of fun when I can break them out. Really good time. Really good time. What else are we talking about on this day? Well, let's talk about this day in Disney history, because Coco debuted on this day in history, not in the United States. No, Coco debuted in 2017 at the Morelia International Film Festival in Morelia, Mexico. It was, kind of like it was all about Mexican culture, essentially. So they wanted to debut it in front of a Mexican audience, obviously. And so they did it at this film festival. And already, I mean, we all love Coco, right? Obviously, it was a huge hit in Mexico. It was a huge hit at this film festival. They showed it a few more times at other spots throughout Mexico as we approached Dia de los Muertos, of course, the Day of the Dead, which is basically what the story revolves around. If you don't know, I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. Sorry. But yeah, and then eventually it debuts in the United States on November 22nd. So around the Thanksgiving time. But we are such huge fans of Coco, and this is a big day when the filmmakers had the joy of sharing it with the people that basically the culture that in this film revolves around, and that's really exciting. Other things that are happening on this day in general history. Well, on this day in 1973, the Sydney Opera House, the very, very famous Sydney Opera House, was opened by Queen Elizabeth herself after 14 years. It took them 14 years to build this thing. You think Disney moves slow? How about building this thing? 14 years to build the Sydney Opera House. But of course, what a landmark for Australia. It's so well known. You instantly know it when you see it, that is Sydney, Australia. I mean, it speaks volumes. What an amazing piece of architecture for sure. Also on this day in history, and rock and roll history more than anything else, the Police performed their very first United States concert in 1978 at CBGB's, of course, the great music, mostly punk music hall in New York. It was their first ever concert in the United States, and of course went on to become one of the, even though it was kind of a short-lived group together, but one of the greatest bands, some of the greatest albums, some of the greatest music of all time came from the Police. And of course, Sting continues to this day to make great music as well. So it all started in the United States on this day in 1978. Hey, if it's your birthday today on October 20th, 2024, very happy birthday to you. Hopefully you're celebrating it with a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff on this weekend, on this Sunday. Here are just a few of the people that you celebrate your birthday with. Let's talk about some of these. How about Jerry Orbach? He was born on this day in 1935. Unfortunately, we lost him back in, I believe it was 2004. My notes are a little sketchy there, but it looks like it was 2004. He would have been 89 today. Of course, Jerry Orbach, so many great roles. But of course, from Beauty and the Beast, he was the best voice. He just was so great in that role, and we just love him so much. Also, on this day, born on this day in 1931, Mickey Mantle, the great Hall of Fame baseball player, lost him in 1995. He would have been 93 today. Several of these people we lost too early. Tom Petty, we lost him in 2017, but he was born in 1950. He would have been 74 today. One of my favorites. I've seen Tom Petty in concert several times. I loved him so much. His shows were always phenomenal. He was such a great performer, and a happy birthday to him. We are not a political show here, so I'm just going to say this. It is Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm going to say it right. Kamala Harris. It is her birthday today. She turned 60. She was born in 1964. Happy birthday to her. Snoop Dogg. He was born in 1971. On this day, he turns 53 today. Boy, has he become, he was already iconic within the hip hop world. But man, has he gone so mainstream that he's like everywhere? He was all over the Olympics. He's everywhere now. He's on The Voice now. He's just doing so many things. It's so interesting. And then Jim Halpert himself, John Krasinski, he turns 45 today. He was born on this day in 1979. He's done so many great things as actor, director, producer. Of course, the Quiet Place films, talking about Jack Ryan, if you've seen that show on Prime. But well, I will always know him as Jim from The Office. That's just kind of the way we know him, and he will always be that to me. So wishing him a very happy birthday as well. Also, of course, we need to talk about this because it's happening today. We have a new show today. Yes, a new show coming out today. Everything you want to know about Disney Vacation Club. So if you've ever thought about joining the Disney Vacation Club, want to know a little bit more about it, so you can see if you want to approach some of the hosts, the Disney Vacation Club hosts, well, we're going to pass along some information to you to kind of give you a basis of knowledge so you can go in and make a decision for yourself. As I mentioned yesterday, it was right for us. We are the Disney Vacation Club members, but it is not right for everybody. So we're just going to try and pass along the pros, the cons, the information that we can to kind of help you make an educated decision on if you want to look more into delving into this thing that has been nice for us. But again, it doesn't fit for everybody, but we will kind of give you that information. If you have any questions, I know Marianne, who was with us here, she asked us a question yesterday. We will be answering her question on the show. We'll be recording this in about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. So somewhere between 10:30 and 11 a.m. Eastern time is when we'll be recording this episode. So you still have time. If you have any questions you want to ask us for us to answer on the show, we'll be happy to do so. But you can always ask questions later too. Send us messages through our social media channels, through our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com, and we will answer them in an upcoming show. Or if you don't want to be mentioned on the show, through responses through the direct messaging, through the Gmail account, whatever it might be. You just tell us how you want to approach it, and we'll be happy to do so. But we just hope you'll come along. I think Michelle, I know Michelle has put together a PowerPoint presentation for this episode. So this will most likely be a video episode that we'll be releasing later in this week. The actual podcast episode will drop later today sometime, early this afternoon, East Coast time. It'll be more late morning, West Coast time, obviously, but hopefully you'll check it out on your favorite podcatcher, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And then go check out the YouTube later on. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch this show every morning, but also other things going on. I'm currently working on our walkthrough of the new Fort Wilderness cabins, the reimagined cabins, the DVC reimagined cabins. That I think will be coming out this week as well. It's pretty close to being completed. I just need to polish up a few things, but that'll be done. So you'll know when that comes out if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Anyway, enough self-serving information here. I'm going to wrap it up. Everybody, have a fantastic Sunday, a wonderful Sunday, a magical Sunday. Hopefully, whatever you have planned today, whether it's just relaxing, whether it's getting out and having a great time, visiting family, friends, buttoning down, reading a book, it doesn't matter. I just want you to have a magical day, and we always hope for that every single day. All right, everybody, I will see you tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. I hope you'll join us then, but whatever you join us during the day, I'm always happy for that. All right. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great Sunday.